What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unhinged Talk. As usual, I'm your host, Patrick Hennessy, joined today by the man, Brian DeGennaro. How are we doing today, Brian?
I'm fantastic, Pat. How are you?
Listen, I can't complain as usual. You know who else can't complain? The
Who?
Yankees' new draft pick, first round of the 2021 MLB Draft, Trey Sweeney. You love to see that. We're going to tell you guys all about him today. Brian's ecstatic about it, you guys can see. But before we get into that, everyone be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more. We're going to be going live before and after every single Yankees game this season, so stay tuned for all that content. But Trey Sweeney, Brian, the Yankees took him with their first pick in the 2021 MLB Draft that took place last night. I
Yes,
believe the Yankees had the 20th pick. And to be
correct.
honest, a little bit of a surprise pick for the New York Yankees. I know a lot of people don't really tune into the MLB draft and don't really get too invested in it simply because, a lot of these guys aren't going to be in the big leagues for a few years. It's not like the NFL or NBA where the guy's going to make an
Right.
immediate impact. Like I said, Trey Sweeney was the number 55 ranked guy. The Yankees took him with their
Yeah.
20th pick. He's currently a shortstop coming out of Eastern Illinois. However, he's projected to be kind of a third baseman as he progresses through his career. He's a pretty large guy. I would say 6'4" is pretty average for a shortstop, I guess. But
Yeah.
scouts kind of think that he would flourish a little bit better at the third base position. If we look at his college stats from Eastern Illinois in this year, in 48 games, he hit 382 with a 522 on base, 712 OPS. No, 712 slugging. 712 slugging, Brian, with 14 home
good.
runs and a 1234 OPS. And he earned the award, the Ohio Valley Conference Player of the Year. So listen, if we kind of just look at him in general, sure, looks like a great pick. And honestly, he's probably projected to be the Yankees' third baseman of the future currently. Just because I'm pretty sure his ETA at this point is probably 2023, given that they are drafting him out of college. But Brian, what are your instant reactions to the pick? Not really knowing much about him besides what scouts are saying.
I like it, honestly. I like how we're kind of setting up our infields of the future, I think. We have Anthony Volpe. He's a shortstop. He's going to be ranked pretty highly as far as Yankees prospects go over the next few years. He should be coming up soon, too. And if we got that left side of the infield covered, that's great. And then, you have Glaber, who's going to be around for a while, hopefully. Maybe they can move him back over to second base. And again, this is a few years out. We got to see how these guys develop. But it's shaping up to look pretty good. You got some pretty big names that are coming up now. And he's a lefty back, which I absolutely love. We don't have enough of that. We know that. And you can never have enough of that in Yankee Stadium. So he's got great tools. So I think that he's got a lot of potential.
Yeah. I don't want to say that the Yankees, this kind of goes to show that the Yankees might be losing faith in Gleyber Torres, simply because apparently Sweeney, it wasn't the only shortstop that the Yankees had their eye on in this year's draft. If you kind of look at what I think it was Jonathan Mayo who said it. But the Yankees, it was Jonathan Mayo that the Yankees also had their eye on a high school shortstop named Jackson Merrill, who went to the Padres with the 27th pick. So the Yankees clearly didn't really have their eye on much pitching in the first round of the draft. They were really going to go for a shortstop regardless. Now, I don't know what that means for how they view Gleyber Torres heading towards the future. Not even like their everyday shortstop, but even in that infield in general. It could also be just them trying to stack up on a position that they know you always can never have enough depth for, right? Let's say Sweeney develops into one of the best shortstop prospects in baseball. His value would be 10 times more at the shortstop position than if he was an outfielder, right? And I don't know if you've looked at any video of his swing. It is beautiful. Like, I truly really like his swing simply because it's so aggressive. It reminds me of, like, imagine a combination of, like, Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber. Those are like the two names that pop into my mind automatically. It's kind of like a more aggressive version of Austin Wells. That's kind of like the way I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
He looks really good, but the only thing that I think would kind of hurt him, and the thing that scouts think hurt him as well, is because there's so much moving parts in his swing. He has kind of difficulty as far as what the scouts think. They think that he's going to have difficulty hitting major league caliber fastballs. So I don't know if that's something that we should be worrying about. Clearly, Yankees aren't too worried, though, because they took him with their first round pick. But I truly think that that's something that I think if you kind of look at any negatives of a guy, being able to hit major league fastballs, I think that's kind of one that I would be least worried about, simply because I think that that's just something that you would adjust with time. The more he sees major league quality pitching, especially fastballs, I think the more he'll kind of become adjusted to it, right?
Yeah, and like you mentioned, his swing is kind of complicated right now. They might try to simplify it a little bit, and if they do that, it might be easier for him to catch up with fastball. So I wouldn't take too much stock in that. What we want to look at right now is his strengths, right? And he's got a plus arm, he's got a lot of power, great hitting ability, and that's the stuff that's going to grow, you know. So let's try to keep it positive, right, Pat?
No, listen, I'm the definition of positivity, Brian. But I mean, also, I mean, it seems like scouts are kind of split on him, right? And I think that's why he
Yeah,
wasn't really ranked as such a high pick. Like I said,
right.
ranked 55, the Yankees took him at 20. But
Well,
as
Yankees
far
know
as what
better.
another scout said about him, they said late bloomer who grew into his frame in college, elite bat to ball skills. It's not
That's
legendary. It's elite bat to ball
that
skills,
like that.
um, with the potential for massive power. So I think you kind of piece those two things together, right? I hear massive power, I see left-handed hitter, and I see Yankee Stadium. If you kind of just piece
Mhm.
all those things together, there's kind of no reason why we shouldn't be
Love
excited for
that.
him to potentially be in the Bronx within the next few years.
Yeah.
So I think that's the bottom line, right? We kind of need to see how he progresses. But kind of like how I mentioned earlier, the MLB draft is one of those things where unless it's like a number one pick, I don't get too excited about these guys until we see some sort of development in the Yankees minor league system.
Yeah.
Because like we always say, bro, like half of these guys that were drafted in the first round might not ever even see a major league field. So before we
Yeah.
get a little bit too confident and get a little bit too excited, I want to see how he does in the Yankee system, and hopefully he progresses enough to the point where maybe one day he could be the replacement for Gio Urshela.
That'd be awesome.
Bro, I truly think that's the road we're heading down because if we kind of look at the ETA compared to when Gio is expected to be a free agent, if Sweeney kind of makes a name for himself in the organization as their third baseman, before Gio becomes a free agent, which I think is in 2024, Sweeney's expected to be up in 2023. He can make the decision very easy for the Yankees whether or not they're going to be paying Gio Urshela in free agency.
Wouldn't that be great?
I don't know. Listen, having a young guy emerge to take another one spot, I don't know. I guess we'll see how Sweeney does. But all I know is I really need a left-handed hitter in the Bronx. And if we could kind of match like Sweeney and Wells and just have them start mashing Yankee Stadium in
Yeah.
5 years, once like everyone's like, oh, this window's closing, I'll be a big fan of that.
Oh
Um,
man. Can't
but
wait.
I guess we'll just have to stay tuned and see how they progress as time goes on. But everyone, be sure like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more. Going live before and after every single Yankees game this season. Hopefully, Trey Sweeney does well. Trey, I'm rooting for you. Sweeney, you're a legend. But I actually really like that name too, Trey Sweeney.
Yeah, it's
That's a
solid.
legendary name. Love
Oh
it.
yeah.
Put you guys on the
Elite.
deal. Elite name, just like his elite
Elite.
bat to ball skills.
Exactly.
But everyone, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. We'll see you guys next time. Let's go, Yankees. Peace.